We're live?
Yes.
How can we be live at 12? We are seriously live?
Yes, we are live.
Oh, we're live? Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello?
Good to see you. You've been busy this week.
Actually, busier next week.
Is it?
Yeah, clutch of very, very interesting interviews. So, might have to travel a little bit for that. But otherwise, yeah. But what a news-heavy Friday.
Yes.
Absolutely.
If Glenmark yesterday wasn't enough, suddenly there came an HUL, and before all of that came Zee,
Yeah.
and we have.
So Glenmark
Avenue
is already up
Supermarts today.
25%
From.
from the beginning of the month.
So 15% right now, 25% from the beginning of the month. Quite stellar. No, but just before we get to Glenmark, etc., everything, we spoke to the author of the note, who said that Nifty will trade between 26,500 to 30,000. We spoke to Rajiv today.
Yeah.
So, and I urge, if we can drop, if we have that interview, we should drop it. But viewers, all I'm saying is, by the way, sorry, first, yeah, producers बहुत मारते हैं. Please press the like button.
Press the like button.
Press the like button. If you do 30
आज
likes,
तो
then you
महिमा
can
को
take
भी
questions.
बिठाया है.
आज महिमा को like करो और like दबाओ. मतलब I wish I can go and like right now. For Mahima, I'll put in 50 likes. Tak, 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 tak.
Thank you.
So that's how much we like Mahima. Yeah. So I urge viewers to go onto YouTube and hunt for that interview and hear what Rajiv Batra is saying. एक है उसकी note, दूसरी है उसका tone and the tonality and the confidence that he has. He is. If you are bearish, you should hear this conversation just to get the counter view. You
So
can
Sajeet
still hold
sir
it.
should hear it,
हाँ, you
for
should.
sure.
Yeah.
मैं भी ऐसे ही बोल सकता हूँ. बताऊँ कृति वासन के साथ मैंने इंटरव्यू किया.
नहीं वो आएंगे हम उस पे भी. No, but the only reason I'm making this point is I'm not saying you need to believe him. It's good to get the counter view always, right? He is saying that a lot of positives haven't been priced in as yet because last 4 quarters we've been hit with so many negative news that the market is refusing to think of the optimistic scenario.
Yeah.
So his view is that the current valuations are also based on the pessimistic scenario. No taking into account the CAD benefits, crude oil price lower benefits, possible earnings uptick benefits, and his note says that the Q1 will lay the ground or foundation, thank you, for the uptick ahead because he said, okay, and don't look at the reportage. He's saying again and again that look at the commentary that corporate India will give you at the end of quarter 1. Now I'm interested in seeing that. Pick what nahi hai. He's head of equities India and Asia at JP Morgan. He knows what he's talking about. It's worth listening to.
I get what he's saying, and these are some of the positives which are been ignored, as you are saying, as of today.
He's not saying bit. He's saying market is not pricing them at all.
At all.
At all. His view. All I'm saying is listen to the view. Listen to the counter view.
So you're saying that FY26 and 27 earnings, which everyone is talking about, does not factor in all these positives. Is that
his
what
view is
that what you're saying?
I'll tell you what I'm saying. I'm telling you the derivative of what he is saying. My view still remains the same, Sajeet. Diwali. Let me explain now that you said. Don't be a famous anchor. मेरा कहने का view ये है. My view still stays 28,000, and I per se, who am I to give a view on the Nifty? But I believe simple math that the Nifty should touch 28,000, give or take a few hundred points by Diwali 2026. Simple. He is saying that the market is pricing in maybe my derivation of what he was saying. The market is maybe pricing in 10% growth. The market is not pricing in a 15% growth if the growth turns out to be 15%. Like maybe 14, 13, whatever it is. But he's saying that low teens or mid teens growth is not being factored in.
वही तो मैं आपको कोशिश कर रहा हूँ पूछने की कि ये जो अगर मार्केट्स को ये जो 5% का डिफरेंशियल आ रहा है.
Yeah, his view is the market is not pricing in.
Consensus.
His view is the market is not pricing in the lower prices and the CAD benefits. He's not. His view is that the market is not pricing in the relative growth differential that India will have with the rest of the world.
So basically, he's saying that this 10% growth, which everyone is priced in, does not have these benefits in it.
Yes.
Could be interesting, I would say.
कोई कान ऐसे पकड़ता है
कोई ऐसे पकड़ता है.
Anyways, so now we will talk about Glenmark third because I want to first talk to Mahima about HUL.
Yes.
Then we talk to Sajeet about TCS. Woman power, huh?
Huh.
Yes.
The street gave a salute to
Yes,
HUL.
absolutely. It's 4% up as
Why
we
so?
almost 5% in fact.
Why so?
So
शुरुआत
probably
कीजिए कि मिस्टर बाबा
yeah,
मिस्टर
Mr.
जावा
Java.
क्यों नहीं क्यों निकले
Huh.
He said
So-
Baba, right?
मिस्टर जावा
Yeah, so Rohit Java, his tenure was ideally supposed to end in 2028, so 5 years tenure, but he's served only 2 years now, and he's leaving 31st of July. And as per the press release and
that's a
copper,
short notice actually
it's a very short notice, and they've said it's happening on a mutual agreement. He's been working with HUL for 37 years now in various roles,
so
right?
if it's happening in a mutual
Um,
agreement matlab there is something serious happening there, right? In the
Yeah.
sense, and normally you means at that level you have some bit of notice period and handover and everything which is there.
But I think notice period, because Priya Nair has also been with HUL since 1995. So
Hmm.
the decision that they've taken is quick, and the turnaround should also be pretty quick. And she's been with HUL, she's worked with home care, beauty, personal care, and she's got that experience.
Hmm.
So it will not take a lot of time for her to step in his role. Plus, why 2 years back when Sanjeev Mehta left, she was one of the contenders to be chosen for the CEO and MD role. But that time Rohit
So
Java
Rohit
was
came from
chosen.
Asia Pac to
Correct.
India.
Correct. And so now that he's
That's an
leaving,
interesting insight.
yes. So now
Okay.
that he's leaving, she's now stepping up as the CEO and
But
HUL.
why
and
such
she's
a
the
strong
first-
reaction?
A strong reaction because we were trying to
I think the
see
answer lies in the last 2 years of performance of HUL.
for home care and personal care per
Yeah.
se, home care, beauty as well, and beauty has picked up significantly in the past 1 year. The growth which was negative in FY24 has been positive in the beauty and personal care space in FY25. Plus the minimalist acquisition that they've done. That is turning out to be very well for them. That is something that will augur growth for the entire space of beauty and personal care going forward as well. But they've got big aspirations when it comes to growing the brand of minimalist. So that is one thing. Plus, home care has also seen a turnaround in her leadership. So that's something that she's managed in especially in an environment where FMCG has been going through so much pressure. There's inflationary pressure, there's demand pressure. Now that we are actually seeing that there's urban which is not picking up, but rural demand also might peter out.
Basically,
So,
he has taken the pain,
considering-
but
Yeah,
he's
she's
not
taken up
enjoying the fruit.
the responsibility. Yeah, so now we'll have to actually see. And last 5 years, if you see the stock performance, the stock has done nothing. I mean, in his tenure also, I was just seeing that the stock has given a negative return of 9%, whereas Nifty FMCG as a whole has still managed to give an 8% return, which is not good. But still, 8% positive return versus negative 9% return for HUL in the past 2 years. So, I mean, overall, probably the street is expecting that there will be some turnaround in the company. Even if in terms of revenue growth, we are seeing it's hardly a 1 to 3% growth in the past, 3 years now. The CAGR has been nothing. Low single digits per se. So, and the second part, I think in the last Q4 commentary that they mentioned that now they'll be focusing on growth rather than maintaining their margins. They're already gone ahead and said that our margins will be on the lower end of what we've guided for. So I think maybe all of these things are working in the favor of the company, and probably we'll see some. Plus, we have the eighth pay commission, the tax benefits because the slab rate is now 12 lakh rupees. No tax. All of those things coming in might benefit the company overall.
And I think two things which are coming in, like what you said, crude prices coming down,
Yeah.
so your raw material prices are going to cool off a bit.
Inflation is also.
And
yes.
second, I think urban consumption is taking off, or there are green shoots of taking off, which is there.
As of
So
now,
that
only Dabur
augurs-
has said that. Though.
Yeah, I think Marico also said.
Dabur
Godrej
said.
consumer?
Godrej
Dabur has said that. That they are seeing, urban demand picking up now slightly. But that commentary was not, at least not in business updates. We'll have to see how.
Yeah. So if that happens, then HUL stands to gain, right? In that sense.
Yeah, I mean,
That's.
FM.
But
CG
more power
will
to
be.
women.
Yes,
We have now at least
absolutely.
8 to 9 women leaders heading various FMCG companies in India,
Yeah.
which is there. So
There's United Spirits.
There's United Spirits,
Godrej.
There's
Colgate.
Colgate. There's also.
there is woman. A couple of more
Marico.
people. I think
No.
Hina was handling United Spirits, right?
There's
Nykaa, then Mama Earth.
Mama Earth. Yes.
Ghazal, she's there. So there is a slew of women leaders, and
Good
the best
piece.
thing is
That's
that
a
if you
good
look at
story
it,
to
most
do.
of them are into higher end personal care and beauty.
Yes.
That's this uh, sphere of competence, which is
Good, good.
the way they're leading the charge there.
Jyoti Labs is also.
Jyoti Labs is also there.
Yes.
Jyoti MR.
I think that's an interesting story to do.
Yeah.
I can pick up that.
I told you
Yes.
to do that.
You did? Okay, I'll do that story. Okay.
No, so just remember, viewers, though, HUL, I mean, change in leadership is great, but FMCG, whether it performs or no, remains to be seen. I mean,
Yes.
if you think 2 years is too much, look at the HUL performance between 2001 to 2010, if I'm not wrong, or something like that, right? Or the Infi performance then, and I think HUL for a very long period had underperformed. I can't quite place the exact time date is, so keep that in mind. But by the way, speaking of underperformers, what's happening? What did you make of TCS numbers, and what did K. Krithivasan tell you? Because I was listening to your interview with interest.
And did you see what he has to say on demand? I think he was blindsided with respect to the hiring in Q1. He net hired 6,000 plus employees in Q1. And to give a context, in Q4, he hired around 600 employees net.
Okay.
And what he said was that we hired it because we saw that there was going to be projects which needs to be executed. But then we suddenly saw a demand contraction happening. So that entire 6,000 employees which they hired, they went on the bench. So the utilization rates went down. But he's saying that it's a short term because many of them have pushed the execution starts everything to the next quarter. What was interesting was for me that he's saying he's still managing to say that I think 2.5-3% is what they grew international business in FY25. So he still says that I will outgrow that. uh, I'll be growing at that for international business. There is a BSNL business which is going to come back again in Q2, and then there's a ramp up which is going to happen. He didn't give the value to it, but it's going to be a big one because it's again the first one was 4G. This is a 5G one. So that will also bring in, but that will also bring in some kind of margin pressure for them because BSNL orders are, third party led, and then their margins compress. So what he's saying is that normally if you see the TCS trend, the margins start to go up from Q1, Q2, Q3, and then again, plateaus in Q4. That's a trajectory. This time there are two things which is not there. One, the wage hike hasn't happened. If the wage hike is going to happen in the second half of the year, so there's a margin pressure which is going to come in, and along with that, they're going to be BSNL. What they're claiming is that they will be able to increase the utilization rates to such an extent that they will be able to cushion. So the street was disappointed for two things. One, they were looking at flat or marginal growth in international business in revenues. There you have a degrowth of 0.5%, which is coming in. Their profitability was mainly led by other income, 600 crores of refund, and third-party expenses being down.
So numbers weak, commentary weak.
Numbers are weak, commentary is weak, and he's the second company after Accenture talking about order inflow slowdown, which is there. Remember, Accenture began that at the beginning of the earnings season, saying that while numbers were in line or ahead of the street, the inflows were weak, and they were giving a weak commentary on the inflow. That's what he's also saying, that there's a demand contraction happening. We have a strong pipeline of advanced orders which we haven't signed, but it got pushed to the next quarter. So at $9.4 billion TCV, which he's talking about, he's saying that it could have been much more had it had those orders got closed. But I think that's going to happen in Q2. So it's a cash 22 for them in that sense. They were, I think they were on the wrong side with respect to demand. From a Q4 to Q1 end point of view, as far as uncertainty is concerned, he's saying it's almost the same thing. It's coming more from rest of the world minus North America.
Okay.
So my question to him was very interesting. I asked him that you're talking about.
My question to him was very interesting.
because you have US labor holding up, you have US market growing, and North America is growing, and still you're saying demand contraction is happening when this is a major market for them. So the rest of the world is dragging down for them.
Okay. So net not a very positive outlook.
Yeah.
So Sajeet gave some insights on TCS. Mahima gave great insights on HUL. Like for that. Please present
But
the
what's your
likes.
view on Z?
Yeah, Z ke pehle Glenmark.
Glenmark,
Glenmark,
yeah.
chalo, Glenmark.
Because there are two questions on Glenmark as well. Why is it
Yes.
flying first? And by the way, the second question is it's an FNO stock. Why is it locked in 10%? But it's
No,
already
15%.
20%. 20% ना अब तो.
नहीं 15% के ऊपर खुल गया अभी.
खुल गया.
15% में. So by the way, there were so the technical reason, and I'll give the technical reason because that was the hang on.
There's a new circuit filter issue which is there, right?
Sorry?
The circuits have a new way of opening up now. You cannot be one linear circuit. You
Yeah.
have to have trades on both the sides before it goes up.
So revised guidelines by NSE, minimum of 50 trades must be executed with 10 different upper circuits and 3 unique trading members on each side of the trade, which is not happening since morning, which was not happening since morning in Glenmark, which is where it was stuck at 10% for a while.
Yeah.
And by the way, no trades were happening on the futures or the cash. They're all happening in options. Right?
Yeah.
Because option guys thought that isme teji hai.
Yeah.
Now it's up 15%. So I'll tell you one of the things, right? The fundamental thing, and then I'll tell you what the management told us because we spoke to the management. Give me a second. So one of the views, for example, Motilal Oswal view is a net present value, okay, not a futuristic value. An NPV of 470 rupees per share is added to the base business value. 470. Now you argue that its stock is up 25% from that, so therefore instead of 200 and whatever price that it is, कितना है ऊपर? 242. और उसके ऊपर थोड़ा और 100 रुपए पकड़ लो, तो 342 अभी भी यहाँ पे से अभी it's not discounting the entire base value, I think. Okay, part one is that. But we asked Glenn about the timelines for the एक 700 million upfront मिल रहा है, 1.2 billion है over a period of milestone. He doesn't have timelines for the milestone. He said, sorry, but I can't give you the timeline, which is fair. But he's saying that they are looking at the IPO of IGI in 3 or 4 years. Part one.
So the timeline is that only,
No. The milestone can happen in 18 months also.
No, it cannot. I'll tell you why. Even though it's an accelerated part of it, means FDA is accelerating the entire thing, it will take at least 2 years to complete all the clinical trials and go for commercial.
No, but milestones are not
based on clinical trials.
No, also on filing.
हाँ, क्लिनिकल ट्रायल के बाद आप फाइलिंग करते जाएंगे ना, हर फाइलिंग में जाएंगे. तो अभी आपने क्लिनिकल 1 खत्म किया है जिसमें यू फाउंड आउट दैट 30% chance of recovery.
No, 30% of the patients actually showed that recovery. Showed the recovery. It's actually a really good thing aside of the financial thing.
And now you have to 2 or 3 which are the filings which is there. So it will take a year, 2 years.
Guess है, हाँ, guess है, बराबर है. You are right, maybe guess है, but पता नहीं exactly. मेरे हिसाब से. At least that's the sense I got when I was talking to Varsha as well. Part one. Part two, and more importantly, whether this is the only thing or are there others as well. So he said that both at IGI level and at Glenmark level, there are a few things happening. Difficult to call whether anything can be as blockbuster as this for Glenmark or not. But because Glenmark is not just this story. And therefore, I think the upsides on that. But interesting that there is a fair degree of profit booking happening at those higher levels.
Come back to
I'll give you an example. Statistics, when it hit 10% circuit, the total traded value on NSE was 63 crores. Now it's 1900 crores. At that time, the delivery what NSE was showing was 100. Now it's 50.82%.
Oh, so how?
So,
मतलब क्लीन हो गया थोड़ा, जिनको बाइंग करना था
और जिनको बेचना था वो बेच दिया.
There might be people who might be lucky enough or whatever it is, gone for a trade and now reaping the benefits. But net, this is not unwarranted, is the limited point. 12-13% होना चाहिए था based on the move that has happened or based on
I
the
think they already
development that has
moved
happened.
that much. 400 rupees और move हो चुका है.
हाँ. थोड़ा पहले हुआ, थोड़ा आज हुआ. Can there be more though? I believe personally, I think based on the interaction and the notes that I've read, that don't be surprised if there is more upside to this.
Is it how's the base business doing?
Base business, वही बोल रहा हूँ, base business steady state है. उस पे अगर आपने whatever the NPV 470 पकड़ो, 425 पकड़ो in one case or slightly higher पकड़ो in whichever case, can be there.
Probably furthermore upside when timelines are more clear.
When timelines are more clear, the other thing to just keep in mind is that because you missed the bus on this, do you want to extrapolate the same kind of efficacy for some of the other drug makers? There are 3 or 4 others in the pipeline who got a novel drug or two. You want to please be careful. It's a very difficult thing. It may not meet the same success that a Glenmark has made or a WCK 5222 has been for work hard. But there are a clutch of companies doing this.
Sun Pharma had a setback recently because of a loud track.
So please don't extrapolate just like that. And now for this
It's
also,
once,
please do
it's once in a hundred chance that one drug may go.
When it does.
Yeah.
So as long as the company has a good base business and there is a pipeline of maybe some novel stuff that can happen, could be killer.
But interesting that he said the money which we are getting is enough for IGI for next 2 to 3
2
years.
years,
and look at further development this.
Because they use some $70 million per annum for IGI. So that's the thing.
So that helps them in that there's no burden that is coming on them. Actually.
Okay, before we take questions, quick thoughts on Zee, anybody? Negative.
You negative for sure, but you said that it was required, or it was. We had a chat sometime back, and you said promoter अपना पैसा डाल रहा है, डालने दो. That's the thing which is there.
Yeah. So did I see that as a positive? That the promoter is wanting to put in the money. Any stock in which a promoter is willing to put in money at close to the current price, right? In a warrant form or otherwise, I would take it one as a positive. कि भाई ठीक है, promoter is putting his money where his mouth is, and it's not chiller like whatever these 10-20 lakh per se relative to the sizes of these companies. That's reasonable. There's also something that's happening in another company today as well. But what I'm saying is that in Zee, a large sum. But clearly, because the governance firms, etc., all of them had said, this is not done because
dilution is too much.
And Zee probably needs a different set of promoters, who knows, whatever it is and stuff like that. Right?
Not only that, but also the fact that they're already sitting on 2,400 crores of cash.
Yeah.
So, doing so much of dilution. And remember, we were discussing the growth. And कितना growth double करने की बात कर रहा था वो. And we were talking about dilution के साथ कितना EPS growth होगा, and where the price will not move at all in that sense, right? We were talking about
because EPS doesn't move. Viewers, remember that profit may move, but EPS may not move
because you're diluting yourself so much.
So I was talking to one of the analysts, and he said the same thing, that they're already sitting on so much cash. The promoter might as well go out and buy it in open market. Why not do that?
That's the argument which I made actually.
So my argument to that is the difference out there is that the money doesn't go to the company then. It goes to other set of shareholders. So if the promoter is willing to paint a picture कि भाई उसको 3-4 करोड़ क्यों चाहिए, then better money coming into the company is supposed to go into other shareholders. That's my limited view.
But then he didn't have an end use for this 2,400.
वो हमें पता नहीं है. So maybe in an investor presentation, if they laid out why is it that they need this 4,000 crores? Some expansion, some this. I mean, remember, they are fighting against behemoths here, both global and local.
Absolutely.
So therefore,
true, content business has become such a high capital consuming business now.
Sir, with reason, no? आप सोचो, आप और मैं Friday को क्या बात करते हो? आप मुझे बोलते हो Family Man season 3 आने वाला है. Simple है. How many of us are going to the theaters? We are effectively looking at productions that are happening and coming on OTT. So therefore, all of these companies who can make good content, they will need to invest because they'll reap benefits out of it as well.
True. And it's evolving so much, right? From a long form, we're moving to shorter form. In fact, so all of those
what's
things.
the latest series you're watching?
I'm not watching anything right now. Honestly, I'm not watching anything.
I was listening to a book, right?
Okay.
Which I put on Instagram, by the way. It's a fascinating book.
Yeah.
One of the best that I've read. So I've been busy reading a book.
What are you watching, sir?
Well, I finished Criminal Justice and then.
कैसा था? Third next party is usually good.
Yes, but it was a anti-climax. I don't want to give you the climax.
Oh, don't then. ये भी मत बोलो. Okay, chalo, let's take questions, guys, very quickly. Mahima has to leave also.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Mahima, maybe you can answer one of the questions. If there are any relevant...
Karan is asking that Reliance was...
नहीं, कुछ consumption related question हो तो पहले वो answer कर लेते हैं.
Not yet.
नहीं, मेरे पास एक है.
Anupama is waiting for the thumbs up and likes before she puts the question across.
But ठीक है, मेरे पास एक महिमा के लिए question है.
हाँ, बोलो.
If at all, before this thing happens. Mahima, if indeed urban recovery were to happen, which are the companies that stand to benefit? Probably stand to benefit.
I think from the staples pack, if you see, I think the likes of Godrej Consumer or Tata Consumer. Tata Consumer so far is the only FMCG company that has seen a double-digit growth. Early double-digit though, but has seen a double-digit growth. So Tata Consumer, the second one is Godrej, and the third one I believe should be Marico. But still, all these big companies, like bigger companies, I would say, like Nestle, HUL, will probably take time to come back to that double-digit level of growth.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mahima. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so
The
much.
likes are for Mahima today.
Right. Okay,
Cheers.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
There is a question from Vigeen, which he's asking. Uh, heard from heard from one of your shows that Reliance is entering solar cell manufacturing. Is this a threat to Warrior Energy? Well, they're not. I mean, they're looking at wafers, looking at model. They're looking at cells. But I think it's still in production. So when it comes, right? In that, but they're looking at gigafactories.
But also that unlike, I mean, I think if the market has to survive, then it will be a multiplayer market. I don't think it'll be restricted to one or two.
And
So-
the kind of capacity that we have to add. You had Ireda today in a show. Of course, you were grilling them about Gensol. But that business is humongous.
I think it's priced a lot. So I mean, okay, here's the view. I don't know if it's a threat to the could it be a threat to the market cap? Maybe, but could it be a threat to business? Maybe not. Right now, these stocks are priced punchily,
Yeah.
but dhanda to chalega.
There is.
I'll also pull out the questions.
Yes. Vigin is asking, Vigin ka ho gaya, right? Srikar Reddy is asking, why is CAM CDSL correcting? Is it because of low trade volumes? Yes, that's one of the reasons. Plus, the revenue model is based on how many active investors are there and not the kind of total folio size or investor size. So if investors are reducing their activity, then you are hit by low transaction revenues and your revenues are lower. So I think the market is already pricing in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Anupam Ahuja, can MCX perform well because of commodity prices rising and volumes in Nifty options going down?
I don't know about the volumes and Nifty options angle.
There's an interrelation नहीं है ना?
नहीं है. मेरे हिसाब से नहीं है. Sajeet understands exchanges better, but the last 2 or 3 brokerage notes that have come out have all been very constructive on newer product launches and rising volumes for MCX individually, independent of.
I think the electricity future is something which is exciting for them in that sense. But
I mean, could it do well? Brokerages are constructive.
Yeah. I think brokerage is now constructive in every exchange which is coming out with a product. वो चलेगा कि नहीं चलेगा पता नहीं. Vigin is asking any views on Honasa consumer earnings for this quarter.
अच्छा हाँ. नहीं, I don't know. इससे को Honasa था. महिमा को पूछना चाहिए था. Sorry Vigin. Maybe Monday.
Okay. Abhinav Mandal has a question for you, Niraj. What triggers market to continuously go down since last few sessions?
There's lack of buying at higher levels. It is evident, and I would reckon that trade wars, tariff fears, etc., would all work against the sentiment of the market, right? Because there is uncertainty that comes in. So, agar uncertainty aayi hai with the Nifty at 24 half times, is there reason to be cautious? Yes, there is. But is it a reason to go out and outright sell the market? I don't think so. Specific pockets में फिर भी पैसा बनेगा.
Do you think the markets will test 25,000? क्या
पता? हो सकता है.
कैसे लग रहा है आपको?
I mean, I'm no one to predict that, but is the recent trend looking weak? Yes. Are there any big triggers? No. Avenue Supermart's results, I don't think will excite the street too much based on the Q1 update. So that will also be wobbly. IT results haven't really taken off. We need the banking numbers to start coming in.
And banking, Hersh was telling yesterday that it's not going to be so rosy picture coming from the bank side.
But as Rajiv Batra said, maybe look out for the commentary. Part 2, I think something will be very important, will be the absorption of the share sale by SBI. 25,000 crore है.
कम है यार, मतलब size है तो बैंक.
But फिर भी 25,000 crore of liquidity.
क्या चिल्लर है उसके?
नहीं, चिल्लर तो नहीं है. I mean, boss, $3.5 billion का share sale is not chiller. It takes money off from the secondary markets per se, right? So interesting to see what happens there.
Aishwan Lalwani is asking, what do you think is impacting the stock?
एक बार महिमा का stock था.
Varun Beverage के बारे में you have been talking about it, right?
No, not me.
Not much.
Sorry, I don't have deep insights onto Varun Beverages.
But on a fundamental basis, the growth is coming from overseas markets.
Overseas markets as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
In Indian markets, there is a competition coming from Campa, right?
Campa, but I mean, for Varun, I think the other big thing that worked beautifully was the energy drink product, right, which still continues, because I don't think they gained as much from cola as much as from the energy drink piece, and therefore, but honestly, don't know insights at these levels or whatever 450 level, what valuation does it trade at, etc. I'm not 100% sure, Ayushman. I could do some maybe work and get back on this. I'm sorry, I don't want to give wrong views here.
Hmm.
Kalyan has a question for you.
Yeah, I know.
And Kshitij has this thing that Accenture was at a 52 the day it declared 20 results 20
True,
days
I know.
back.
That's what I was telling Niraj at the beginning of the show, that TCS becomes the second company after Accenture, which is talking about order inflow slowdown, which is coming in, and that's what is worrying, because what TCS also told us was that their pipeline is very, order book is already 9.4 billion, so they're sitting at 30-40 billion dollars of order book, but their order pipeline is equally strong, and that's what they're saying. And but they've not been able to close because the clients are taking time to close. So, and Accenture also had the same commentary which is there, and that's why Accenture, despite beating the street, was not taken. They had it hit a low, I think 52-week low on that day, right, in the US markets. So we spoke about that on the Accenture day, and I think this is the same thing which TCS is also talking about, that there's a sudden contraction of demand which is there, and he's saying one good reason for that is that many of these companies are having margin pressures, and they have to safeguard their guidance, and that's the reason why they are pushing the spends to the next quarter, so that they have some more idea of where the uncertainty is coming in.
Yeah.
So the guidance thing is now deciding whether order book होगा कि नहीं होगा अभी.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question Kalyan is asking when TCS.
नहीं उसके पहले किया ना. अच्छा हाँ कल्याण. हाँ भाई सजीत बोलो.
CEO is telling you
We have last 4 minutes.
Higher labor costs. What you mean by labor here? I'm talking about employees and IT companies, right? I mean, they've added 6,000 odd employees in anticipation of order starts or project starts, but project starts have been pushed, as a result of which they're sitting on the bench, which reduces your utilization. Now, just opposed to that is the attrition rate of 13.8%, which is almost a 2-year high for them. So it looked like that we remember 2-3 years back we had the supply side problem for IT companies. It looks like that we are heading to again that, because the skill sets now needed for that kind of orders like AI, integrated machine learning and all, is now high in demand. And that's the reason why their wage cost has also gone up by $150 million in this quarter.
Okay. Which book, Niraj? Anupam, the book is called The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I mean, it's a moving book. It's a book set in Paris in 1940 when it was occupied by Nazis. So it's a very moving book, but fiction account based on maybe real stories, but fiction. So, but one of the best reads that I've had in recent times. Anyways,
Now has a question. Reliance again. Reliance rallied from 1,200 to 1,500 in anticipation of IPO, I think.
Yeah.
And now that no IPO announcement, I don't think any announcement has come on Reliance.
No, they said no. The IPO, Geo IPO is getting pushed.
That's some reports. Reports are coming in that the Geo IPO.
Formal appointment नहीं है.
Formal नहीं है. Retail is taking time for sure. If you look at the annual numbers for retail, their cash from operations have come down on a year-to-year basis. Geo tariff hikes is now, I think they're penciling in only towards the end of the year, right? There's one report, UBS report, which has downgraded telecom companies today. Bharti and Vodafone both have been downgraded. They're talking of hike of 10 to 12% by the end of the year, or towards the end of the year, which is still going to be much lower than expected. So I think that's one of the reasons. But I think I heard some murmurs about Reliance looking to list their FMCG business. And it was just murmurs. There's no confirmation, guys. Because their FMCG portfolio is also now big. Private label portfolio is big. You have Campus and others, everything constituting that, and the kind of acquisitions they've done in FMCG is now getting into a big portfolio. And as we heard some people saying in the past, FMCG is not giving you enough return on capital. So if you remove that from retail, it may bring in good returns coming in there.
For retail,
For retail. That could be one of the,
But I thought FMCG was a nice ROC business.
No, it doesn't have the same kind of thing like an infra has. And that's one of the reasons why Adani has exited, right? That's what they were talking about. That, the investments.
वो तो non-core है इसके लिए, right?
Non-core तो है, पर growth.
यार return on capital तो बहुत अच्छा है FMCG में.
But उनको return नहीं मिल रहा. It's as compared to an infra business where upfront capital and then you have 10-20 years of cash flows, which is there. So I think that could be some a big thing.
Chalo, bhai, we have to
Chalo,
wrap.
chalo.
With the view that Anupam has complimented my socks, Sajeet.
Who? Yeah.
Anupam, yes.
Which one is this?
No, these are, and the Anupam, you should see the socks that I wear to the gym, by the way. But yes, pocket squares, colorful pocket squares, colorful socks. So that's my weakness.
Yes, your socks collection.
Yes, color in life.
Vedanta, you have anything?
नहीं sir.
22 पे कुछ हुआ? 22 पे?
नहीं, कुछ ज़्यादा हुआ नहीं. I said they have projected. I mean, my personal view on Vedanta is that right now people are playing Vedanta for the event. Most people who are logged in are playing for the event. Okay, in the next few months, the demerger will happen and that will bring value. Now, if that doesn't go through, by the way, it's a big problem because a lot of people are parked with that event. But yeah, most people are saying
do you see unlocking of value happening because of the event?
मतलब मुझे जहाँ तक देखो मैं इतना पढ़ा नहीं है बट वेदांता को बट जिन्होंने पढ़ाई करी है वेदांता पे वो बोल रहे हैं कि इसमें if this will go through and if you can time it well, then there is money to be made here.
How to time that well, actually,
You got to be lucky.
I mean, we tell our viewers always that don't try to time.
Don't time, नहीं. So you need to be patient with this कि भाई अगर management ने बोला है 6 महीने.
Business metrics of
नहीं, but no, if you're playing for the event, then you take in whatever the management has said about when they'll do it, add some months to it, and then see if you're happy with the return. Simple, right? और तो क्या रास्ता है? Management को सुन लो.
Final question, Arjun Sarkar is asking about brokerage notes. You can get the research reports on ndtvprofit.com.
कहाँ पे कैसा है?
On the research reports section is there.
There is a section on the website.
So you go there and you can get all the research reports.
Some of them at least.
Most of the domestic brokers.
Most of the domestic brokers.
So you have.
Cool. Thank you guys. Happy weekend.